Shirley Jones was once America's sweetheart, the radiant young star of Oklahoma, and the beloved mother figure of the Partridge family. Yet behind the glow of her smile and the applause of millions was a marriage that tested the very limits of her endurance. Her husband, Jack Cassidy, dazzled the public with his looks, charm, and magnetic stage presence, but at home he lived by rules that slowly tore Shirley apart. For decades she kept his secrets, shielding both his career and their family, until late in her life, when honesty finally replaced silence. What she revealed shocked even those who thought they already knew her story. Her journey began far from Hollywood. Born in 1934 in the small town of Charleroi, Pennsylvania, Shirley grew up with simple dreams. By age 12, her extraordinary singing voice convinced her teachers she needed formal training, leading her to the Pittsburgh Playhouse where she studied acting, dance, and music. It was a decision that unknowingly paved the way for stardom. At just 21, she landed the lead role of Lori in Oklahoma and became the only performer ever to sign a personal contract with Rodgers and Hammerstein. Shirley Jones had officially arrived in Hollywood. It was during this whirlwind of opportunity that she met Jack Cassidy. 10 years her senior and already a Broadway star, Jack introduced himself with disarming confidence during rehearsals for a European tour. Though still married at the time, he told Shirley, "I'm going to marry you." She laughed it off, reminding him of his wife, but Jack simply repeated his promise. Soon, against her better judgment, she was captivated by his wit, charisma, and energy. By 1956, Jack kept his word, divorcing his first wife and marrying Shirley. At just 22, she not only became a wife but also stepmother to David Cassidy, who would later rise to fame as one of the biggest teen idols of the 1970s. From the outside, their marriage was glamorous, a Broadway star married to Hollywood's newest leading lady. But beneath the shine, cracks began to form almost immediately. Shirley's career soared with roles in Carousel and Elmer Gantry, which earned her an Academy Award, while Jack struggled with insecurities. Though admired on stage, he resented being eclipsed by his wife's fame. His insecurities, Shirley later admitted, fueled the behaviors that would haunt their marriage. Jack Cassidy was magnetic, but his need for attention was insatiable. What began as flirtations quickly became a lifestyle of affairs. At first, Shirley tried to dismiss them, telling herself it was part of the Hollywood world. But soon, she discovered a deeper truth. Jack admitted to her that he was bisexual. He craved experiences of every kind and declared that fidelity simply wasn't in his nature. For Shirley, who was raised with small-town values, the revelation was devastating. Yet she stayed, deeply in love and determined to keep their family intact, even as she was slowly breaking inside. The 1960s and 70s revealed the contradiction that defined her life. On screen, she was thriving, most famously as the warm, steady mother in the Partridge family, adored by millions each week. But off-screen, her home life was collapsing. Jack's infidelities no longer came in whispers. He flaunted them at parties, drank heavily, and sometimes even bragged about his encounters in Shirley's presence. Friends recalled her quiet suffering, her ability to smile for cameras while privately unraveling. She loved Jack with all her heart, but she could no longer ignore the toll his betrayals were taking. By 1974, after nearly 2 decades of marriage, Shirley filed for divorce. But the story didn't end there. 2 years later, tragedy struck. In December 1976, Jack Cassidy fell asleep with a lit cigarette in his West Hollywood apartment. The fire that followed engulfed the building, and Jack, only 49 years old, perished inside. For Shirley, the news was shattering. Though divorced, she admitted she still loved him deeply. In fact, she later confessed that if Jack had lived, she wasn't sure she would have married again. His death left her with grief, regret, and a lingering sense of unfinished love. In time, Shirley did remarry, finding stability and devotion with comedian Marty Ingalls. Their marriage lasted nearly 4 decades until his passing in 2015, a testament to companionship and resilience. Yet even then, Jack remained in her thoughts. She described him as the great love of her life, despite the pain he caused. For decades, she shielded his reputation, choosing silence over scandal for the sake of her children. But in her later years, she finally lifted the veil. In her 2013 memoir, she revealed what she had long endured, that Jack was never faithful, that he pursued both women and men, and that his addictions to attention and desire were impossible to satisfy. Her candor shocked many, reframing the memory of a man once admired for his charm. But Shirley never painted Jack as a villain. Instead, she presented the truth with honesty and compassion. He was brilliant, magnetic, and reckless, and she loved him despite it all. By the time she reached her 90s, Shirley Jones had nothing left to protect. Her final confessions were not about revenge, but liberation. After a lifetime of secrecy, she wanted the truth known. She admitted that love and pain had walked hand in hand through her marriage. And even after all the heartbreak, Jack Cassidy remained the love of her life. It's a story of devotion and destruction, of a woman who carried her husband's secrets for decades before finally speaking freely. And it leaves us with a haunting question. Was Shirley right to keep those secrets until later in life? Or should she have revealed the truth sooner?